Seven Harrys, this is the most complicated scene in the world!
I know pretty much how it's going to be.
None of us quite have any idea what's going on.
I can see it in my head very clearly. We shoot that way, and that way.
It was really fun. It's bloody confusing though.
Even a bit unnerving, to be honest.
It's really difficult to shoot, but it was really rewarding. It's really fun.
So here we are at Privet Drive. Harry has just received a rescue party. The audacious plan that they've hatched is to transform a number of them into another Harry.
Ow! Blimey, Hermione! She got one. Yeah.
When I read that, I really looked forward to it because I knew that the potential for wonder and comedy was just great.
It's just one of those sequences, though, that requires a lot of careful preparation.
Basically, you have the motion control camera, and it's programmed by computer so that it does exactly the same moves each time. We'd shoot one version with me as one of the characters, and we'd shoot another version with me as another character. And it was very specific stuff, so like if you were moved too far an inch to your left, it was unusable because then you would, in theory, be standing on a version of me that we then filmed next, which is going to be put in later, if you sort of follow me. If you do follow that, then well done, you should join the visual effects department.
And so you have these 7 people who look exactly the same. But David Yates had Daniel Radcliffe actually show a little bit of each person's character as they were dressing and looking like Harry himself.
I watched him do me, and that's quite close, really, uncannily close. A bit frightening, really. It was almost mirrored.
You start to look at people in a very analytical way when you're kind of studying them. Like Rupert walks with a real wiggle in his hips. You know, it's actually quite a sexy walk, if you know, if that's appropriate to say.
It's really weird kind of watching someone kind of pretend to be you. He did it really well, and he kind of got all my posture and everything down, and it was quite strange.
It was really interesting for all of us to be involved in directing, basically, because we know those characters, and also in our own habits and how we move and how we'd say things, and to make it real.
The most surprising thing was how quickly I got Emma. I hadn't really done that much kind of work on it particularly.
Harry, your eyesight really is awful.
And I was expecting Emma to be really, really difficult. And David Yates just went, yep, we got that, okay. With the other ones, we'd all been going to like 10, 11, 12 takes on all of them.
Action.
And Dan getting the opportunity to play with Fred and George. That's what's really fun.
Dan? Haven't got anything a bit more sporting, have you? Because I spent quite a lot of time looking at the Phelps twins, and because I knew I'd be spending a lot of time being them.
They were obviously so precise, both David and Dan, on getting it bang on that they were going to get the right actions. Just things that you noticed, like how you stand just at an actual stance.
They sort of stand almost like that, almost with turned out feet or something like that.
I think I should file a lawsuit.
I suppose there is an element of the fact that I've just seen them for so long and I have spent so much time around them that bits of their mannerisms and the way they phrase things as well kind of does bleed into you a little bit, and you know, you probably do become quite tuned in to it. Bill, look away. I'm hideous. Roll's not coming off.
Hey, doing that again, ladies and gents.
All right, we'll be turning off.
Dan plays women really well, actually.
I was thrilled. That was one of the things I was delighted about, was how good I looked in Fleur's costume. I looked fantastic in women's clothing. And I was like, yeah, man, I look good. I look a rock star. So I was quite pleased with that.
With Dan in those 3 days, always saying, work it, just work it.
Bill, look away. I'm hideous.
Oh, smashing, mate. It was excellent.
And we did also, I have to say, break the record for the most number of takes ever done.
Take 73.
Because it all counts as the same shot for each pass when I do Fleur and Munungus and all those characters, it all counts as one shot, and we did get up to, I think, 95 takes on that one. It was a long day.
The actual sort of putting it together was reasonably simple until you get to the point where we had to do the facial changes. So we used a system called MOVA, which is a facial capture system.
This is ultraviolet makeup that only shows up under these lights. So we've decided to use this very exciting new technology where I'll be filmed from kind of all angles by about 26 or 27 cameras at once.
The actors gave us these fantastic kind of performances as they transformed, and we blended from one to the other, and it was very successful, actually.
It's probably a scene that we could not have done 5 years ago, and took great discipline on everybody's part, but particularly Dan.
We've basically translated it fairly faithfully because it's such fun in the book, and we wanted to bring that spirit to it.
It is the film equivalent of actually doing a magic trick, and I think people will have the same kind of wide-eyed, childlike response to that scene. And of course, I'm delighted with it because 7 of me are once on screen, so it's any actor's dream.
Wow, we're identical.
Action!
We were on the run in this Harry Potter film.
It's like, hey, you just start running, really.
Yeah. This one's been really fun. It's always nice to get out of the studios because we spend so much time here.
Then kick over and do most of your weaving through on the left-hand side. I think all 3 of them seem to be enjoying this one more than the others.
We were setting up these shots where they would be chased through the forest, and I said, all right, I'll do a take and I'll let them just get the hang of it. So I go to take 1. Action! And they go, and I think, whoa! It's because they are trying to outcompete each other. Dan wants to run faster than Emma, Emma wants to run faster than Dan, and Rupert just wants to be anywhere to try and keep up with the pair of them.
Are you guys secretly competing? Who's going to get there fastest?
That's really good.
All 3 of us will be saying, I was the fastest.
He's amazing. The first take, we did the most amazing, like, James Bond style cartwheel over it.
I hit it at quite a pace and then just sort of flopped over it.
They're all going to say to the fastest.
I am.
Emma said Emma, probably, didn't she? She's wrong. I'm faster than Emma.
I'd say me.
Rupert knows he's not the fastest. Thinking about it, that's just him. He's just mouthing off then.
It's the first time I've ran in a long time.
Emma really impressed me, and she can run. I mean, she left a lot of them for standing. I was so pleased.
I gave the boys a good run for their money. Definitely.
I could beat her. There's not even a question in my mind. If you well, it depends what distance, I mean, you're talking about, but short distances, every time. No problem.
We'll cue you guys when to start running on this because you're actually faster than Dan and
yeah. Don't tell him.
I'll tell him.
Yeah.
I'm a hero.
I don't care. I'll call it red carpet next premiere. We'll do it. We'll have a race, man. Make it 100 yards. I'll do it. I'm up for that. Not that I'm competitive at all.
It's actually funny, David had to take us aside and say, I just want to remind you that this scene is about the film, not about which one of you can run the fastest. We all sort of went away with our heads down, like, oh, it's a bit embarrassing.
It's weird having someone chase you, how that kind of makes you run faster, really.
Let's go, Jay. We're done. We're ready.
Godric's Hollow is a beautiful scene in the book, and we wanted to bring that spirit to it.
Still think we should have used Apologies potion.
No. This is where I was born. I'm not returning as somebody else.
And we shot that at Pinewood, and Stuart built this beautiful little set.
The look of Godric's Hollow is quintessential English. We look for real villages, as you do, as inspiration. And in the place I preferred, there were 3 magnificent cedar trees, and it seemed just great to have the graveyard underneath the spreading branches of the cedar tree. Pinewood has this splendid old garden, part of the original estate before it was ever a studio, and there is one magnificent cedar tree there. So we went there for that tree, literally, and built the graveyard around the tree.
It's a mixture of modern gravestones and very old ones. It was a very beautiful set. People couldn't believe that it wasn't real.
Godric's Hollow is also where Bathilda Bagshot, this extraordinary wizard historian, lives. Strategically, Harry thinks, well, maybe Bathilda can help us with our mission to find the Horcruxes.
Harry. Bathilda's house is an old house, and she's been inhabited by Voldemort, so she's not really functioning anymore. So we had all these dotty old lady boxes full of things down the passageway and under the bed, and we raided the costume and the charity shops for clothes to put on the floor. And also, she's a famous writer, Bathilda Bagshot, who's done this particularly famous book, The History of Magic. So we did actually make about 10 other books written by her, which appear on the bedside table, on the mantelpiece, in little stacks all over the place.
I think it's a perfect set. It looks really ancient, but it's very, very beautiful. And I have loved every second of it.
Godric's Hollow turns into a very dangerous trip. They find Bathilda. She is there. They think she can help them, but everything is not quite what it appears. And it actually turns out to be Nagini waiting.
I don't like this, Harry.
It then leads into what is, I think, one of the scariest sequences in the film, which is a huge fight between me and Nagini, who is Voldemort's pet snake, I suppose.
Nagini's probably the closest thing we have in terms of it's a creature in the film, but it actually, it's really a snake. I think, snakes scare a lot of people, and we can play on those kind of pretty sort of straightforward references of the way snakes move and the sort of the creepy nature of them, the eerie sort of quality of them.
We did look at a lot of videos of snakes feeding, and it just gives us ideas like biting the arm and spinning Harry, and how he gets on the floor, and he uses the spinning action of grabbing and biting and rolling to get the rest of the body coiled around, and then that's how real constricting snakes do. So that we use that as definitely as reference.
It's the first time where you've actually seen Nagini attack, and she feels physically very dangerous. We haven't seen that before. And they're fighting in a very small space. So the planning of that scene was key.
I went into a real sort of stunt mode where I had all the pads on and I got really into it, and I'm kind of aching all over today. I'm kind of vaguely earning my money, which is, for an actor, is a very rare thing to be able to say.
When Greg hits you, we'll need to feel just a bit more impact.
Okay, fine.
Just a bit
Greg
more.
Can do that?
Yeah.
We'll do that. Yeah.
But you can...
Obviously, we're shooting without Nagini, so to give Dan the energy he needed, we had people sort of poking him with sticks.
Because we are the high-tech, multi-million-dollar production that we are, the snake's double was a pole with a boxing glove tied to the end, and Greg Powell, who's a stunt coordinator on Potter, and is a bit of a legend within the industry, he was on the other end, and it was all fine, and we were doing well, so I'm trying to parry the glove pole snake away, and then Greg really just planted the front foot, and it hit the chair very hard, and it went up and smacked me in the mouth, and my teeth went really hard into my gum, so I had a fat lip for about a day, but it's really calmed down, so I'm feeling pretty good, which is good because I've got a photo shoot on Sunday. It's one of those big action sequences, and you kind of block it through, and you've got absolutely no idea how it's ever going to come together. But when you actually get down to doing it, it seemed kind of seamless, which is lovely and rare.
And action! Straight! Straight!
Fringo!
Straight!
What am I doing with the finger? Sorry.
Out there. Red card. That was the best one yet. Out there.
That was terrific.
Sorry, what am I doing? The snake's...
The snake's coming in, it's Fringo.
When we find Harry just before the frozen pool, he's almost on the point of giving up because he feels that he doesn't have enough information to destroy the Horcruxes, and Ron's left them.
Ron's been gone for like months. He comes back as Harry's seen the sword in Gryffindor under this iced over lake.
Harry breaks the ice, jumps into the ice, gets dragged down underwater, which we'll shoot and leaves them in our tank there.
The Horcrux attempts to strangle him round his neck.
Are you comfortable with all that stuff?
We'll see. Yeah, probably. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
And we're going to do 1 or 2 takes. We're not going to labour it. We're just... Because it's all about the coverage for me. It's all about getting one quick moment and getting closer.
Action. And pull.
Dan? Yes, sir. All good? Yeah. You know we're going for the other shot now. We're tracking up. Well, basically, it's the end of that last shot of you struggling, and then you're going to start getting dragged diagonally up towards the other corner of the ice, past the hull. What was the main thing to do, Dan, is setting yourself up for it, because you're back upside down most of the time. I was taking my goggles off, getting myself sorted, and then getting your breath, and then just slowly getting yourself in position. Okay. Because the flatter you are, the better it will look, you know. Okay. And the same thing with the slow exhale will stop anything rushing up. So. All right. Thank you, mate.
Full struggle. Great. Keep it up then. Brilliant. Fighting, struggling. Up, airing. Stand there.
It was a good scene to shoot, because Harry's rescued by Ron. And there's this wonderful moment where they have to kill the Horcrux together.
It's kind of Ron's big moment. He really steps up and it's kind of a hero, really.
I can't. Then why are you here? Why did you come back?
There's that slight sort of awkwardness of last time we saw each other, we were having a giant blazing row, but you just saved my life, but that doesn't mean I'm not still angry at you.
And the other big moment we have to make more of is the tension here between the two of you just before Rupert stabs it.
It's great having some time with Rupert as well, I'd have to say, because it's very rare that me and Rupert get a scene just between the two of us that's really wordy and there's lots of dialogue, and it's really, really nice to be involved with him.
And the final thing is just to remember that when you're down here, Dan, and you fall for the final time, you're looking at Rupert.
Yeah.
Rupert has to look like he's going to...
Because I think he's going to kill me.
He's going to kill you, yeah. And that's quite an interesting moment.
1, 2, 3.
And
I think the world of Rupert, and it's nice to be able to, especially like moments like this when I'm off camera, just be there and help and try and offer what support you can.
What's so beautiful about the scene is that A, it's a scene about destroying a Horcrux, which is cool and exciting and dramatic, but B, and perhaps more importantly, it's really about their relationship as well.
sorry I left.
Well, you've more or less made up for it tonight. Getting the sword, finishing off the Horcrux.
Saving your life.
That too.